Hi everyone, welcome to Getting to Know Kingman. I'm your host, Earl Hamlin. All right, folks, I have a really special guest today because this guest has been on the show before, and I enjoy him coming back, and I invite him back all the time because I really like talking to him about Mojave County, and I want to talk to him a little bit today about being a naturalized citizen. So we have a lot of show for you and a lot of information as well. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching Getting to Know Kingman. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to Getting to Know Kingman, and welcome back my guest, Luke Gazana.
Hi, Earl.
How you doing, sir?
Very good. And I want to thank you one more time because you've been the last few years since I moved in the county, one of the free voices that really let the people of this community, regardless that you agree or not, you've always been very fair with all of us to give us a chance to exercise our First Amendment right.
Well, I appreciate you being here, and thank you very much for the compliment. I want to talk to you a little bit about being a naturalized citizen, okay? Is it a lot of work to become a citizen of the United States? And the reason I'm asking that is a lot of us that are born here, we kind of take the United States for granted. Not all of us, but there's a lot of us that do. Okay, and you come from Italy.
Yes,
okay?
From Rome, Italy.
And you wanted to be a United States citizen. Is it a lot of work to be a citizen?
It's almost impossible. I tell you, it's very hard, especially for a European country lately. The point is, America is supposed to be a melting pot, that everybody has a chance to become an American. Unfortunately, the last 30 years, this is something I learned through the experience because I pretty much follow all the process since going to the American embassy, asking me for my first visa and blah, 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 and going through all the way there and spending 7 years waiting before they say, yes, finally, you can become a citizen. It's very tough, and that's okay because anyway, the country anyway should somehow have the chance to select or decide what type of people they want in, because there are 5-7 billion people out there. You cannot put everybody in the same country, so that's very understanding. The only thing that I realized the last few years, especially when I started to get involved also in the immigration issue, that this is not fair as supposed to be for everybody. There are, for example, now if you are like from Germany or from England, or Italy. Trust me, you're really better off if you buy a pair of sneakers, you marry a Mexican lady, and then you jump with her. I'm not trying to be funny because, I feel sorry for people coming from South America. They have a lot of harsh conditions. The problem is that's supposed to be fairness for everybody. And unfortunately, the quota that's supposed to be before more balanced, now it become very unbalanced. A European country, they really don't get the same treatment that other third world countries they're taking. And I think it's political, by the way.
So it is really so why did you want to come to America then?
Since I was a kid, I don't know if, maybe I know why, I think come to my family history, World War II, my grandfather family, from my mother's side, we were under German occupation. I'm from Anzio. Anzio is a little town. It was a big battleground for World War II, one of the biggest landing. Even, of course, was playing a different time. The first few days was pretty quiet. Then it started to become bloodshed. And my family was under occupation. They were running for their life. The Nazis, they were looking for them. And indirectly or directly, if today I'm alive, my grandfather made it. A lot of American people, men and women, also English, because they were also Canadians. It was just America. But anyway, America was part of my growing up. I used to go to the American cemetery when I was a kid. After, the war, of course, was over, and my grandfather started to teach me all the tough time they had to go through. And it was a lot of thinking for me. Say, I would like to become an American one day, something that I always had a lot of respect.
So your grandfather actually taught you to be thankful for...
Thankful, correct. Because if today I'm alive and I was able to my mother to make me, because my grandfather was alive. It's a strange destiny. My grandfather is supposed to be dead, and all his family exterminated.
Oh, I see.
So that's pretty much a
Well, I mean, the reason I'm asking this is because we hear, Americans, we hear all the time. We go into these countries and we're not appreciated. We're kind of going in there under bad conditions and the people don't appreciate you. And every time I've talked to a person who's from somewhere else, they always appreciate the Americans being there.
I want to make a little distinction.
Sure.
World War II was the last war declared by Congress. There was a war. Everything after Korea, it was just another police action under the United Nations. So I don't want to say that everything is the same. Because World War II, I don't want to compare
You mean every situation is not the same?
I want to compare apple with apple and pear with pears. Because there are a lot of situations that, unfortunately, our intervention, it is not constitutional, it is not justified, it is something that we need to talk a little better. If you want to believe in the Constitution, it's unconstitutional. So World War II was, according to, first of all, was declared by Congress, was a war. And it was a just cause. And I don't want to ever compare World War II with Libya, or some other United Nations police force where our kids had to go die and we don't even know why. So I want to be really distinguish that, because I'm all completely thankful for America, but I want to be thankful for when situation was right.
Okay, look at you in our conversations on camera and off camera. You mentioned the Constitution quite a bit. Everything is constitutional. Did you have to study you seem to know the Constitution a lot better than most folks. And again, a lot of us take the Constitution for granted. But you're very protective of our Constitution. Why is that? Because you know it so well?
First of all, it doesn't need to be a beautiful thing of the Constitution. You don't need to have a PhD or a master's degree. It's a very small little booklet. You can read in a few hours, and that's why it was so beautiful, because everybody could read it, understand it without being a lawyer. So I'm not an expert. I just can read English even with an accent. I think that what is the most vital thing that our founding fathers left us, and the Bill of Rights, of course. And the reason why I think we need to really go back to that, because now, unfortunately, the Constitution was the last thing we had, not to give us right, because the right, they are natural, come from God, but to limit the abusive power of the government. And that's why the Constitution was made to control the government, not to control the people. And that's why it's so unique, this country, because coming from a place, for example, like Italy, that even the Constitution that we have, it doesn't have the same type of basic concept. The concept that government in Italy give you right is a privilege.
No, I see.
Here, the only one in the world, of course, we lost that type of mentality, because now they're trying to tell us that that's not the way it is. Now, the point is, in America, you come out, as when you're born, with some natural inalienable rights. And that's a very unique thing. Now, when you see that we completely, for example, the war, okay? The Constitution, why was so important? Because our founding fathers, they were really people that they tried to put, even with the imperfection, because nothing is perfect. They were humans, after all. But they tried to put balance, check and balances, that we didn't have some sort of tyranny, where all the power were concentrated in one entity, like, for example, we have now in the executive. So the Congress has a very important function. If you want to go to war, let Congress declare that we go war, not one man or an international organization like the United Nations tell us when we have to go die and where, and how much we have to pay. So now I think the Constitution is the basic, and it's not just for rhetorical thing, it becomes part of our life. Quality of life. People want to understand the Constitution gives you your children to decide that the kids, your family, what you eat, where you go to school, what type of education you want, what type of freedom you're supposed to have. Everybody should be involved into that. It's not just to be in politics. It is about to be a free human beings.
Okay, how long did you have to study before you became a citizen?
You know, the funny thing, in their little program, they don't even let you study the Constitution. They give you some sort of a questionnaire. It's very, I tell you, it's very sad.
Really?
Listen, in my experience, when I did that, it was 2005, I did my test. I was kind of surprised, because there was not really much of a depth. It was some sort of a pre-made questionnaire.
So why does it take so long to become a naturalized citizen?
Well,
background checks?
Honestly, it's bureaucracy. Every time the government does something, they know how to do it difficult. That's pretty much, they're very good at that. But the sad thing is, as I noticed, seriously, I realized that in my experience, there is something that was wrong right there. Because first of all, when you become a citizen, they should pretty much try to make this melting pot out of you. And I see that the federal government lately, they try just to balkanize, starting from the language. If you want to apply for a citizen, even with my accent, even with my grammar problem, I wanted to speak English in my citizenship test, in my interview. They were close to me. Everybody, it seemed like I was in Babylon. Everybody was speaking some other language. I said, guys, we're supposed to try to...
Kind of like being at Disneyland, too.
Yeah, no,
or Disney World
I had to shut up, otherwise I was going to get in trouble. Anyway, the point is, unfortunately, I think there is a political agenda behind. It is not just created today. It's a long time ago. And remember something. They're going to use now there is a plan to destroy the sovereignty of this country, not in you, it's mainstream media, to create a global government, not in you. And look at now where we are. And the point is, one of the tools they're going to use is going to be immigration. Because when they're going to put people that they are not coming from the same type of philosophy and belief, like our founding fathers, like people that want to come here for freedom, individual rights, property rights, gun rights. No, you got people from third world countries used to be slave and peasants, where all you give them some welfare, and there is nothing more than just democracy. That we never had democracy. Democracy is the one dangerous thing in every type of free society, because they mean mob rules. We are a republic. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic.
Right.
Instead, we got this masses that say we are democracy. Guess what? It means that this country is dead, and that's what they want. They want to take over through the democracy system.
Okay, so how do we get all this back?
First of all, education. First of all, try to think, basically, we need to know what we're losing. We need to know our rights, otherwise you have no rights. Then, first of all, start to get involved, like we're doing here. Start from your community, start from your neighborhood. You don't need to go to Washington to make a change. Hopefully, we don't even have to go there, because if every state, if every county, for example, the county is one of the most important aspects of our life. 80% of our quality of life come in our county. If we have a real county government that enforce the Constitution, that would be the most beautiful place in America to live, because on your land you are your own, is your castle, and you know that you have the basic constitutional bill of rights that protect you in your home, or your property, of your life, of your due process. I mean, the constitutional sheriff, it's a very important thing. Look what happened, for example, with Sheriff Mack in 1992. There was a sheriff in Graham County that he stopped the abuse of power from the federal government when it comes to gun rights, the assault weapon with Brady. Bottom line, the assault weapon ban, the sheriff said, no, this is unconstitutional. You're not going to enforce it here. He stood up.
Right.
And also he won in Supreme Court case. So a good county government can restore the Constitution in our life.
Okay, really important question. Was it worth it? Was it worth all the effort? Was it worth all the learning? Was it worth all the work?
Of course. Listen, my life would have been unfulfilled if I wouldn't make it. Seriously, I realized that every one of us has a destiny. I knew when I was in my 12, 13, I didn't speak English, but I used to get English songs and paste them together, and I started to learn English. That was my way to.
Well, that's a lot of what That's a lot of what they say. If you want to learn Spanish, watch the Spanish channel.
And
TV
for me,
channel.
more important is this one. I tell you something. Regardless that, of course, we are really living a very dangerous time here, and the Republic is a very danger. It's an honor to be here, to fight for our freedom, and to try to get this country back for the next generation.
Okay, here's my story, really quick. Okay.
Yes.
I only speak English, and I don't speak English very well. I do not speak English very well. But I was in a swanky little restaurant in LA not too long ago, and the waiter didn't speak English at all. But when you hand a person a menu with all English on it, you might want to know the English.
I agree.
There as well.
I agree.
It took us like an hour to place an order. Anyway, we're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some politics in Mojave County as well. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching Getting to Know Kingman. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Getting to Know Kingman, and welcome back my guest, Luca Zana from Golden Valley.
Golden Valley.
And you're also in the new district, District 4, that's just been created for the county. What do you think about that? What do you think about having 5 supervisors?
I think it's good because first of all, there was a lockdown, and you need to have also more representation, especially from rural
What do you mean
area.
by lockdown?
When you got 3 people, you got like 3 kings, you know. I mean, all two people get together and they got all the control. It's much easier to control when you have 3 people, whatever special interest can be. Instead, when you got 5 people, hopefully we have 5 new people that they are completely.
So we have 5 new kings.
Yes. No, I think there's always hope that we have more check and balances.
Well, and also they'll be able to talk to each other.
Exactly,
which is really helpful.
I think that's very good, and for sure it didn't work out so far. 3, I think 5. It's a fair, especially now the community grew up a lot. There is much more people, and I think it's important. We need to try to represent even, especially more area like Golden Valley or other rural area like we are.
So, what do you think about the times? I mean, we were kind of talking off camera a little bit when you first got here. Do you think the times? Do you think everybody is just mad, what's that saying? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore?
I think.
Or do you think people are getting actually more into politics because they have an interest in it?
At least it could be everything. I mean, I'm not saying it's just one thing, but I tell you one thing for sure. The last 2 years, we brought to the attention of the public, also with shows like yours, starting from the controversial problem that we have with the county, everything, the freedom of speech, the McCain flyer, the dress code, everything. That there is some problem, okay? Things are not exactly perfect. And people decided to get a little more involved now because there is more information. And I think also because most of us, they start to have some also personal concern, I don't want to go to a county and be treated like a slave. I mean, they work for us. That's the bottom line. Instead, now we realize that we are just cows to milk. They want us when we have to go pay the taxes and then shut up and dress the way I say. Pretty much that's not the attitude that public servants should have.
So what do you think about the dress code? Do you think it is overdone and you think it needs to be in place?
I think, first of all, I am completely against the dress code, especially if something that, of course, I'm talking about decency is one thing, but dress code is another one, okay? I mean, we already have laws on the book that you cannot go around with your pants down, okay? That's another story. Let's not try to mix those. But the point...
All right, well, let me interrupt you. Okay, what about a T-shirt that has profanity on it, or what most people consider profanity? You think that's freedom of speech?
Okay, the point is this one. First of all, it's my opinion. I'm not a legal advisor. What I can tell you is this. There are situations, especially in the political contest, okay? If I go in a political debate, the Supreme Court, I'm not talking what I said, but the Supreme Court already ruled about it, that some words, like even offensive words, they are defended by the First Amendment. And then also, the First Amendment was made exactly for controversial and offensive language. Remember, I'll give you an example in Italy. If I start to speak about some of my politicians, because they are not public servants, they're really kings, okay, in a way that I would talk here in the county, I would be arrested probably the day after. And I'm not kidding. There is no freedom of speech. So that's what really makes this country very unique. That an offensive language, I'm not talking about violent, I'm talking about sarcastic, could be also something that people don't agree because culturally maybe no kosher or nice taste. We have that right. And that's why our founding father fought so much for.
You know the thing I like about the offensive language, I don't think anyone put it any better than George Carlin. The 7 words that you can't say on television. Those are 7 words that most people would not use in a daily conversation with anyone. And I think George Carlin, I know he's a comedian, and I know he tested the 7 words as many times as he possibly could. But I understand the FCC. The FCC said, here's 7 words you can't say, period, And here's the reason why, because they were offensive to a lot of folks. And I think that doesn't take away from our freedom of speech.
I understand.
And I think it kind of actually enhances it.
I'm talking though about, let's make a distinguish public airway and talking about political debate, okay? A political place that's supposed to be also a public place. Because, for example, when we're talking about the county building, we're going to go back to the dress code, okay? If these people, they really are people working for us, because anyway, they use our tax dollar, they get paid, how would you feel if, for example, the guy's working for you, tomorrow they tell you, by the way, I don't like the way you dress. I tell you, you have to dress this way. I don't like your hat. Take your hat off. Are you really the boss here, or you're just another guy? That's the bottom line. For me, the point is not about the dress code itself, it's the principle. If you don't like my hat, you need to earn the respect. I remove my hat because I say so. And the hat is more important than the hat itself, okay? When somebody in the county building, just because they're sitting down a few inches above your head, and they decide, first of all, we want to discuss about taste. Maybe I don't like your taste, the way you dress. Okay, a lot of supervisors, they have discussed really, what is now the taste, the fashion police here, okay? So my point is this, so that's the concept is the most important thing. Public servant, I have no business to tell me to remove my hat. That's why they're public servant. I remove my hat because for good decor, because you earn my respect, I'll do it, but not because there is a fear.
Well, here's the way I looked at it, okay? When a person come up to the podium, because I've had people come up to the podium, I don't really care if they come up there in a Superman's outfit or a Wonder Woman outfit or some other kind of outfit. I don't care if they wear a cape or whatever. What I basically care about is the issue that they're going to discuss.
I agree.
And I may not give them the same amount of credit that I would with a person that shows up in a suit or a tie or a very nice dress or whatever. But after I listen to them, I'm going to give them the same amount of respect as I would anyone else. And I don't think people should have dress codes at all.
I agree with you.
A lot of folks think that the protocol is this and that, and maybe that's the way they look at it. Maybe they feel that way. I'm kind of like you. If I want to remove the hat, I'll take my hat off when I want to.
Exactly.
And there's a couple things that I do, the Pledge of Allegiance and prayers and things like that. I've wore this hat all my life. I can't ever remember not wearing a hat. And it's kind of me. Just like a lot of folks wear glasses, they're them, you know. A lot of folks for a long time made fun of people that wore glasses. I just not that type of person. I don't really care. And I've also asked a lot of folks too as well, if a doctor comes into your room and you're sick, and you're really sick, okay, and the doctor comes in and he says, I have a cure for your disease. I have the cure. Do you really care if they have a ponytail? Do you really care if they're wearing red tennis shoes or shorts or Hawaiian shirt or whatever? All you care about is, at that time, giving the cure.
It's true. And on top, let's not forget, that building is public, it's paid by our tax dollar. And the bottom line, this is not like your private business, you decide who come in or not. That's a public building, and the bottom line, the principle, the dress code is more important than the dress code itself. It's the principle that who is the real boss here, them or us, that we pay for them. And that's what I say. So I agree with you. I hope the county, in the next election, they're going to have finally the chance to think and reflect that we have a great opportunity here to really start to mix the cards with new blood and to start to go back to a constitutional form of government. The Constitution is not just something that we need to hang on the wall and to say, okay, that's the Constitution. We need to live it daily in our personal life. For example, we're supposed to have due process. Due process is supposed to be an habeas corpus. For example, since the Magna Carta, you know that finally the king says, okay, I cannot throw you in jail unless I find that you have the body of the crime, and then I need to put you in front of a judge. Even if it was a kangaroo court under the king, but still was a judge. I'm sure you're familiar with the NDA, National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, that if people had the chance to listen about it, unfortunately mainstream media didn't touch it. This is the biggest crime happened. We are going back to the Middle Age. Now the government, the military, under the control or the authorization of the president, or any president is going to be, can get any American citizen with the suspicious, listen, underline, suspicious. You can be suspected to be a terrorist. No judge, no trial, no due process, no more habeas corpus. We go before 1215, Magna Carta. They throw you in jail forever, indefinite detention. If that's America, my friends, no. That's why we need a strong sheriff to stop that, and more important, the congressmen that voted for it, like Trent Franks, this is coming from a Republican. Guess what? Shame on you, Trent Franks. Shame on you, because this is something that is completely unconstitutional, is completely un-American, and belongs, this one, to a country like China, Russia, or Germany during Hitler.
Okay. So I think everybody should just kind of work together and listen to each other a little bit.
Completely. We need to communicate. We want to use our sarcasm. If we want to use also colorful language, that's fine. In a peaceful way, we should, first of all, expose the truth. Bring the truth, not to be afraid, because, for example, I'm a registered Republican. I'm a state delegate, I also elected president committeeman, okay? But I don't care about a party. When I became a citizen, I never pledged allegiance to a party. I pledged allegiance to the Constitution, to the country. My point is this one. Now, when I have a congressman, and I want to really say thank you, and thank you also to the Standard that let me allow to publish my concern and the voting records about Trent Franks, Congressman Trent Franks, that is not exactly what people idealize. This is not about going to have a lunch together and say he's a good man. No, this is about the voting records. And guess what? Go check it out. Read the Standard paper or go to Mojave County Constitution. I will put the letter that I wrote. And by the way, his voting record sucks. Give you another example. He voted for 30,000, allowing 30,000 drones flying the next few years all over America. Is this Iraq? I don't want a drone in the backyard of my house. This is a police state.
Okay, don't candy cut us, Luca. Just tell us straight out, okay? I know. All right, we're out of time. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right,
good luck with your
I will. Thank
election.
you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, and also come back and see us again. Okay, you're always entertaining.
Thank
you're
you.
Always right too.
Thank
sometimes.
you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Getting to Know Kingman. Thanks for watching, everyone.